you married late, and sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want, even if they get married, I don't want to have a child anymore. Whenever a child becomes the peacekeeper in the family, that's not a child's job. It's to understand, to see your parents, to see your partner as a human being. They're not God. So stop treating them like God and expecting them to give you God-like qualities.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It doesn't matter what time you're watching this, but welcome back to a new episode of Learning Living with me, Ali, where we're going to learn from our amazing guests about different aspects of life, things that we can learn to increase our quality of life, things that we can learn to overcome the challenges that we're having, because everybody has their own challenges. And we want to be able to increase our ability to overcome whatever challenges that we have and to increase our quality of life. And one of the topics that we are going to talk about here with our amazing guest here, we have Ms. Melinda Sutanto. You are an author and you are a family constellation therapist.
That's right, Ali, I am. Hi everyone, my name is Melinda Sutanto. And like he said, I am a family constellation therapist and an author.
And let's just start from just that family constellation. Can you please explain before we go further what that is?
Right. So family constellation is a type of a methodology, a healing methodology that is founded and invented in German by this German psychotherapist by the name of Bert Hellinger. The goal of this methodology is very effective in healing and overcoming family trauma, intergenerational trauma that is suffered by anyone who have it.
So it's one of the like do you need to become like a general therapist? Is there such thing as a general therapist?
I think there's a lot of there's a lot of methodology where you could have holistic healing, like Reiki, for example, like sound healing, like TAT, for example, and family constellation is just one part, a type of healing methodology that is used to target to overcoming intergenerational trauma in parents, in children, in couples. So I find it very effective in tackling traumatic situation. You know, you've heard about inner child trauma. Yeah. So I find that family constellation goes beyond the inner child trauma, that tackles not only the children's inner child trauma, but it goes beyond the parents' inner child trauma, your grandparents' inner child trauma. So it's kind of like killing two birds with one stone. It's very effective in identifying what actually the root cause of your traumatic event, or the root cause of your depression, the root cause of your anxiety, because believe it or not, a baby is not born one day just, oh, I'm depressed. There must be an event, a series of events that cause why the symptoms, like anxiety, depression, insomnia. Those are just symptoms where we have to identify what is the root cause of these symptoms that these clients are showing. So I find it that family constellation is very effective in tackling things like that, because in family constellation we are taught that a lot of things we do or situation that happens, even life partners that we attract mimic, and it's a what do you call that? It's a repetition of that family lesson that has not been learned from the previous generation. So
what do you mean? Sorry,
okay.
Family lesson.
Family lesson. So in a family, we are born into a different family system that have different unlearned lesson from the previous generation. Like we believe that each descendant job is to is to improve and elevate the consciousness of each family member to become a more decent human being than the previous predecessor.
Does that mean, sorry to cut it, but just I want to make sure I understand correctly. So let's say me as a father, I want to make sure that my children can get a better like fathering experience
Yes.
than what I got, or
Right.
like is it something like that?
Yeah, so family constellation basically really emphasize on each child being the cycle breaker of negative patterns that is carried from previous generation, whether it's conscious or unconscious. So imagine like this, right? Every child wants to be a good child. Every child wants to belong in the family. Every child wants to be loved. But sometimes being loved and doing the right things is two totally different things.
Example?
Imagine there's a family of thief, let's say a thief, right? You are a child and your job in that family suddenly is a cop, is a police. From a stranger point of view, you will be clapping, saying, good job, that child just break this generational trauma, you know, finally a good child within a family of thief. So it's like this child is battering the family karma, battering the family name, because that child is the only child that is a cop in a family of thief, right? Good job, right? But if you're the father or the mother of that child, you'll probably say, you are a bad child. You cannot help your brother steal stuff. You put him in prison because of your job. You are a traitor. You are not a good child. You see? So this child have this, he wants to be a cop. It's his dream or his life calling or whatever. But he have that guilt that he's not a good son or a good daughter because he cannot help the family to become a better thief. Instead, he become a cop that become a traitor.
Like there's a guilt because what you do is like against
right?
your family.
There is a push and pull. Sometimes a lot of people like, you have a person that you want to marry, but your parent doesn't agree because he's not from a good family. I have already I have a suitable partner for you that is better for you. So, or maybe like a career, you want to do art, but your parents say, oh, art don't pay the bill, become a doctor or become a banker, then your life is secure. So as a child, you always have this push and pull towards, you want to live your life, or you want to be obedient and be accepted, but sad on the inside.
Sorry, do you think deep down we have that need to not the obedient part,
subconsciously,
but,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Subconsciously, deep down, we want to be loved. We want to be. We want to belong. We want to be. Parents to be proud. So sometimes, especially in Asian family, these are the characteristic I found in my patient and my clients, that they would rather sacrifice their dreams, their partner, their other things, and to be loyal and to be loved by the family. That's a price to pay that they are willing to pay, Ali. Sadly, not all, but later on you'll see that this suppression, this giving up of actually what kind of life they want to have, they'll pay the price of being lost. They are a mother to somebody, they are a daughter to somebody, they are a wife to somebody, and then throughout the life transition, you'll find that very easy that they are lost. What happened when you're lost? You tend to live vicariously through other people. You have higher expectation of your children. Look, because I sacrificed my life for you. You have higher expectation to your husband. You better be successful because I sacrifice A, B, and C. I kind of want to work, but when you're married, remember you told me to stay at home to take care of the kids, so I sacrifice. So it's not love that this person is giving, it's expectation, anger, resentment. I could have done this, but I chose to be the good daughter, the good son, and give up a lot of these things. So down the line, that's not healthy for mental health. And this is how a lot of the family resentment and family problem develop, just from a simple wanting to be a good child, but at the sake of sacrificing a lot of your dreams, life dreams. It can be relationship, it can be a career, it can be a purpose or things like that.
So this is really fascinating.
I have 5 principles that I can explain to you, but I don't know if you have time. What is family constellation?
I hope we have the time, and it's up to you. Whether I think it's important for us to learn. So let's make the time. I hope so.
Okay,
we
sure.
can do that.
All right. So there's a lot of theory, but I have summarized it to 5 simple principles. What is family constellation about? So if you practice this 5 principle every day, oh my God, your life will be so happy, so free, so peaceful. So what are the 5 principles? It's very simple. First principle of family constellation, right? A healthy parent and child dynamic is very simple, where the parent give and the children receive. Simple, right? Family, the parent give love, children receive love, period.
Okay.
The love travels from the oldest generation to the youngest generation in one direction. So imagine if you have a great grandfather, that love would travel from him to your grandpa, to your father, to you, to your child, to your grandchild, and so forth. One directional. It doesn't flow upward from your child to you to your grandparents. No, that is the wrong flow. And a lot of Asian families stop me. Oh, so you mean that you don't believe in filial piety? So like
what is that?
Berbakti, you know. So
like
so you mean a
dedicate
child cannot like show thanks to the parents for what the parents have done? No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that why the child does not need to give back the love to the parents and the parents to the grandparents is assuming that the parent already received enough love from their own parents. Makes sense, right? So why should I give you if assuming that your own parent already give love to you?
But sorry to but unfortunately that's usually not the case, right?
Exactly. That's why there's a lot of family problem, Ali, because the love flows wrongly. Like you know, there's this Indonesian saying that berbakti. Like I always tell my clients, like berbakti artinya berterima kasih, bukan memenuhi ekspektasi. It's 2 different things. So being filial is not fulfilling the expectations of your parents, but it's just simply being grateful in your own capacity. Because in our mind, sometimes we have this high expectation of us to membahagiakan orang tua, to make our parents happy. But actually, if you in family constellation, the responsibility of making everyone happy is in everyone's hand. So only you know how to make you happy. I don't know how to make you happy. Like even if I'm your spouse or your child or your parents, and it's not fair. Also, it's not a fair ask, because sometimes you see lost partners who doesn't even know what they want, but they expect the partners. You make me happy. I don't care. Like I'm not happy. Like
you're responsible for my happiness.
Yeah, I sacrifice so much for you. But the question is, do you know what makes you happy? Like, and it's not fair if you yourself doesn't know what makes you happy, and you expect your partner to give that to you, right? So that creates the couple problems, which is like in principle 2. So principle 1, remember the healthy love flows one direction from the oldest to the youngest. Parent give, children receive.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love. That's it. And assuming the child needs to save up on the love given from the parents for his own future family, for his kids and for his partner.
Wait, when you say save up, does it mean you can,
you use the love every time you become, you're doing something that you're not supposed to do age appropriately with your parents. This is what I mean by this. Whenever a child becomes the peacekeeper in the family, that's not a child's job. You think you're doing a favor by mediating between your parents' quarrel. You're just doing them a disfavor, because foreverly your parents will be stupid at conflict resolution, because you're always the one who becomes the peacekeeper. You're spending your love by, that's none of your business. That's adult things, like when they quarrel, right? So that's out of your jurisdiction. Whenever your parent tell you, like overshare, your father is being so selfish, your mother is being like this, that's not a child's job, because then the child feel obligated, I have to side with mom or dad. That is not a job of a child, because the job of a child is just to love both parents equally. She
And-
cannot pick side.
And when you say a child, it doesn't. There's no age limit here. Am I correct? Or,
Yes,
Yeah.
even adult children, because
Yeah.
sometimes a lot of parents rely on adult children to be the peacekeeper. Talk to your mom, she's doing that. Talk to your dad, he's being annoying. So you become the messenger, right? That's wrong. That's not supposed to be a child's job. That's supposed to be the couple's job, to resolve any conflict that they have, right? If they fight and what do you call that? Exploded, so be it. They need to learn from that because they choose each other. It's not the child's job to make sure like, oh, dad is not angry, mom is not angry. Then in this case, the child becomes the adult becomes the child.
So, ideally, again, right? That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
However, that's not the case, and like
That's
you said,
why there's a
why
lot of
there's a lot
family
of
problems.
issues.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And that's why the child, like I said, the child needs to save up on the love for his future family, for his partner, for his children, because logically you cannot give what you don't have.
Okay. But like, I'm still before we move to the second
Yeah.
principle, I still have a question. When you say
Sure.
you use up the
The
love that,
yes.
that you receive,
Yes.
as if I mean, my understanding to this point is that when you give love, it doesn't mean the one that you have will decrease. If you're giving it unconditionally,
Yes, from the parents to the child.
to anyone.
Oh,
I'm saying I'm
okay.
talking in general. Like
Right.
when I give love to someone,
Right.
like unconditionally,
Right.
It doesn't mean like if I have 100 love
Yes.
before that. That means after I'm
Yeah,
giving
correct.
love, it's going to be like 95 now.
Correct.
It
But
doesn't
we
work
live,
like that.
but we live in a limited time, energy, capacity, right? Like we only have so much time, 24 hours for everyone. What I mean is that if you choose to mediate, like let's say, oh, I mediate between my parents, so you can cut 3 hours from. You can spend that time maybe with your child or your spouse.
Okay.
Like that, right?
So not
if-
the amount of
no,
love, but
yeah,
the ability.
The ability. I
Okay.
only make this much salary this month. So giving to my parents and giving to you decide every time. Like a lot of couples quarrel about money. You always put your family first. Like I'm your wife, I'm your kids. We always come second. Oh, this is like so many I hear that this is a violation of the fifth principle that I'm going to tell you. Newly married couple have difficulty of prioritizing who come first, and this becomes setbacks. This becomes what do you call that? The seed of future quarrel.
Quarrels.
Yes, like that. So what I mean by there is a limited amount of time, resources, and energy. That's why your love, like you want to be fully present and available for your new family, which is like your wife and your child, not your parents. That will become secondary if you want your marriage to succeed for new couples. Yeah, that's what I mean by know where to spend. And a lot of clients come to me and said, you know what, I'm so sick, like so much drama at home. I have to like my mom quarrel, my dad quarrel. That takes up energy and love, like you stay at home. And a lot of them said, I just want to get married to get away from all this. I just want to find a boyfriend or a husband so to get away from all this. And then I was laughing and I told them, are you sure you want a husband, not a sugar daddy? She was like laughing, what do you mean? Like, what's the difference? Different. Because sugar daddy, the giving is one way. Is you're finding you don't have to give back that love, right? For a normal couple to function, a healthy couple to function, this brings to principle number 2.
Yeah. Okay.
For a couple, you need healthy couple. For the relationship to work, you need an equal give and take. I give, you take, right? So you do something, I do something that we think is fair. Okay, this arrangement work. It's not free. If I just take from you, Ali, like, or you just take from me, I'll just become your sugar mommy, or you're like my sugar daddy. Because that's the person, I am too spent, I'm too tired to give you anything back. Because I have so much thing at home, my love is spent already at home. Capek, tired.
Yeah, yeah.
mediating the whatever things going at home, and it's not even my immediate family. It's my, I call it like family of origin, which is parents, siblings, even nephew and niece. You take care, which is not your responsibility. And sometimes your mom expect you, oh, because you're the most abundant, or because you're the smartest, or because you're the eldest, or because you're the only man, only son in the family, you have to take care of your sibling. No, that's wrong. The one who should take care, even like adult children, it's the one who gave birth to them, which is who? The parents, not like the most successful sibling or the eldest son in the family. You like that, Ali?
Okay. So
Okay.
we're still talking about the principles now,
Yes.
but later we're gonna. I hope we're gonna go deeper into how to apply this, because
Yes.
these principles are based on the ideal situation on how it should be
Applied, yes.
right? Even though in reality it's not all rainbows and butterflies,
Yes.
right? But let's go through the principle first.
Yeah.
So the first one, the love, it should be given like one directional.
Yes.
And the second one is there's an equal give and take.
You have to feel
Yeah.
equal. Why?
Yeah.
The moment the giving and taking is not equal. I have like a client who's a very saint, like a malaikat, give and give and give and give, also good, and in the end she got not divorced, breakup. Why? Because the moment you give and give and give, that person becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. The person who's taking and taking and taking becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. So the dynamic of it should be a couple dynamic, it becomes a parent and child dynamic. So how would you treat your parent? You're so nagging. Oh my God, mom, stop nagging, right? So that's how you treat your girlfriend. Or the parent become controlling. Oh, you cannot do this, you cannot go out. You see this happening in a lot of dysfunctional relationship between couple, right? Because one gets so big or one gets too small. And the one who feels smaller feels insecure. What happens once you become insecure? You become possessive, you become clingy, and so forth. So you just spiral down like that very fast. So it's very important for a couple, a healthy couple, to reflect, okay, like, do we feel equal? Am I giving and taking in an equal sense, right? And if I'm not, because like you said, in an ideal world, there's no way every day you're going to feel equal. Someday you're going to feel bigger. Someday you're going to feel like shit. You're going to feel like lower. So your job is not trying to pull down the one who is higher, which I've seen this a lot, but your job is to catch up, naik. So you, oh my God, yeah, he's here. Gue ketinggalan nih. Like, I want to catch up here. So you go up, not like, oh, I feel so sad, ditinggalin, and then guilt tripping this to fall down. I've seen that a lot. Like, usually alcoholic couple, drugs, or you feel, oh my God, I'm here, I'm so poor thing. Like, I feel like you don't love me anymore. Show me, prove me. If you love me, you take alcoholic or you take something. Yaudah deh, okay, I'll just do that to make you feel better. But, so to dim the light, something like that. So the job of like a healthy couple is to constantly challenge each other and not be triggered. To always like go level up. Yes, like that. So that's principle number 2. So far, so good.
So that means principle number 1 is
parent to child. One big, one small.
Right?
The couple have to be equal give and take.
So if this is principle number 1 is like vertical kind of way. The second one is horizontal. Okay.
Yes.
So in the third one?
The third one, in family constellation, just say that every family member have the right to belong. What I mean by this is the black sheep in a family. This applies to black sheep in a family. I'm sure that every extended family there's one black sheep that is loved being excluded or shamed. Oh my God, you bring the family name shame. Oh my God, you're like really, I'm so embarrassed having you as this family member, right? So who are these people? You name it, there's a lot. Usually criminals, right? If you have child out of wedlock, outside marriage, if you cheat or have secret families and secret children, illegitimate children outside, or if you maybe do abortions or that none of the people know, that's what else? Your career. Maybe if you are sexual worker, that could also bring shame to the family, perceived as bringing shame to the family, or even your gender. If you're LGBTQ, not all family, but some families like still very traditional and narrow-minded. Oh my God, there must be something wrong with you. You're not normal, like things like that. Or if in a very conservative country, even your sex, if you are a woman born in a family that expect a boy, you already feel excluded. Like, I was born in the wrong gender. They want a boy, but I come out a girl. And she can feel it even though the family don't say it, right? She will tend to she will try to overwork herself to the point of burnout and feel that I'll prove to you I'm gonna be better than boys, and I'll earn my keep in this family to belong. And it's not healthy, because then the girl will have hormone problem, imbalance problem.
Like the masculine energy will be like,
wow,
away,
yes. And then maybe they'll hate men, like, oh my God, because of you, like, I'm not accepted. Subconsciously, all that happening below the subconscious. So what is the danger of excluding such people from our family? Very easy. We tend to exclude people who are different than us, different religion, different race, different culture, right? It feels like it threatens us. But in family constellation, there's this rule, the third rule. The danger of excluding such people, if they're family members, who you reject will repeat in the next generation. That's the crazy thing. It's like, what, right? How can it be? Okay, so let's say you exclude somebody that is a criminal, that is bringing shame to the family, right? And the grandpa's brother or grandma's sister. Later on, maybe you'll find your cousin or even your sibling. They'll take over the destiny. They'll repeat the destiny of the one, the excluded ancestor, becoming a criminal. Maybe kembangannya beda. Maybe it's a different criminal. Maybe it's a different kind of shame. But she will bring shame again to the family. Why? To teach this family system a lesson of unconditional love.
Because the lesson has not been learned yet.
Yes. Like you say, right? Like, keep learning, because life will keep teaching. You don't learn, it keep teaching you in the next generation. Could be like your kid, it could even be yourself, it could be your cousin, it could be, you don't know, it's like Russian roulette, but it's in the family system. There is a family ledger of what is learned, what is not learned.
Sorry, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so this invisible family ledger always keeps tab, right? So that's the crazy thing. That's why I'm so, what do you call that? This method is able to find out and resolve any issue that is not resolved by the previous generation. It always comes up, like through illnesses, through dysfunctional relationship, through your own mental health condition. It always comes up, Ali. Yeah. And
you see this pattern a lot?
Oh, of course, a lot. Usually there's a few. So for example, like and one more thing, people think keeping family secret is good because it's protecting your family name.
Yeah.
But actually, it's kind of like, if you don't know what you don't know, how can you fix what is broken?
Wait, is there a difference though between because sometimes not everything needs to be say publicly.
No,
right?
Not say publicly, but heal that shame.
But you take care of it.
You take care of it.
Okay.
I'm not saying, okay, I have like a killer in my family. I have this. No. That's not the point. My point is that you know something is not right. You fix it.
Okay.
What? I don't know. Go to therapy. Go to something and just do it, so the next generation will not have to relive it. That's what I mean.
Okay. Clear.
Yeah.
All right. So. So the third principle that everyone in the family
has the right to belong.
So that nobody's excluded of anything.
Nobody's anything. Yeah. And sometimes I have clients who said, the thing that I like to ask, do you have a soldier in your family? Anybody that is related to war previously? I don't know which war. There's a lot of war, right? Like soldier either is connected directly or indirectly. Why I ask this? Because yes, maybe your ancestor may look like a war hero here in your country, but maybe in other people's country, he's a killer. So that's already an exclusion that, oh, we need to basically to right the wrong is to not seek forgiveness, but to admit that, oh, I'm sorry my ancestor killed someone's ancestor. I'm terrible, I'm terribly, like I apologize for what he did. Please, so that this war doesn't happen, because usually the unrecognized victim will somebody from your family will take the destiny of the unrecognized victim.
That takes like an amazing level of consciousness to, isn't it? Huh?
Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, it's not that whether you believe it. It happens whether you believe it or not. Like gravity, right? You don't have to believe it whether it's true or not. It's there.
It's the law of the
universe. The crazy thing is you don't have to believe it. It's like, oh my God, that's F up, So
wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That's only until third principle.
Yeah. And the fourth one would be what?
The fourth principle is basically everyone walk their own destiny. As simple as that.
Meaning?
Everyone walk their own destiny, then all mental health problem will not be here. I'll be out of a job. There'll be no mindfulness because everyone is already mindful. What I mean by this is everyone walk their own destiny. It's meaning that, in family constellation, you realize a lot of children, a lot of parents does not walk their own destiny. They walk the destiny of what the parents think is best for them. Oh, don't become a art. Don't become a writer, Ali. Like, how can you pay? Be a lawyer. Oh, okay, then I'll be a lawyer. That's you not walking your own destiny. As simple as that, right? Don't marry that guy. Like, marry this guy is parents' choice. This must be the best. So that's you not walking your own destiny.
Whatever the reason may be.
Whatever the reason may be.
But the result is you're not following it.
Yes, and then maybe like, a lot of client also becomes what I call their parent surrogate spouse.
Say it again.
What?
The parent surrogate spouse?
Yes. So when parents not conscious, not mindful, they quarrel. Maybe their relationship ends up in divorce, or when they stay together, but they still kind of like, they're not working on a marriage, so it's kind of like
a
it's
constant
just the
conflict.
it's a constant conflict. It just wants to look good on the outside, but inside they're not fixing it. So what happened in such marriage? Usually the child is promoted by one of the parent as I call the surrogate spouse. These are the mommy's boy and daddy's girl. Don't be like your dad. He's such a loser. He don't do this. He is not successful at work. You better be more successful than your dad. Or don't be like your mom. She does nothing all day. You have to be better than her. So those are surrogate spouse, or what I call parentification. So this person, this child, consequences might be hard to find a life partner, boyfriend, girlfriend. Why? Because technically the role of a spouse is taken by their own parents. Nobody's ever good enough for my child. Not you, not you. The parent will find fault. This is not good. That is not good. Why? Because the role of a relationship is taken by the parent. Even if they successfully get married, these are the potential mother-in-law and father-in-law from hell. Right? The one that, like whatever you do nothing is ever good enough, because they cannot let go of the child. That is the only man in my life that is to my liking, that I can control, that listens to me. My spouse doesn't listen to me. Like I already kind of like, whatever you do, I give up on him or her. So that is the unhealthy connection between parent and child. And this child will have problem separating from the parent to start his or her own family. This will create relationship problem, because this child will not be an available spouse fully for the new family. Everything will be the parents first. Everything will be the parents first. Whether the parents is right or wrong, just listen to my parents because they're my parents. Would you like to be the
spouse?
Exactly, right? So one is interrelated. If you violate one rule, then the other is just kind of like move by itself like that.
And those kind of words, when you're still a child, like a small child, and then one of your parents said something like, don't be like your mom or don't be like your dad, and then it sticks and it goes into your subconscious.
Of course.
And That's also one of the one of so many types of trauma as well. Am I correct?
Yes, because when a parent badmouth the other
Yeah,
partner to the child feels like I need to side with one parent that I feel needs protecting. That is the weaker parent. That is the bullied parent. That is very bad for the child's mental health. Why? Remember first principle, Ali, that a child's job is to receive love. How many parents does she has? 2. So she received love from 2 parents. But the moment if one parent badmouth the other parent, oh my God, your dad like hurt me, I'm so sad, I'm so disappointed. After all this, your dad do this, your mom do this. So the child feels she has or he has to cut and reject the love from the evil parent. Okay, I don't want to receive love from you. Bullied my mom. Okay, mom, I'll be here for you. How many percent is your love tank? 50 at best if it's at full, right? And growing up, you'll feel, oh, my father don't love me. Are you sure? A lot of my patients ask me, are you sure is your father don't love you, or are you rejecting love from him? Because usually most of the time the cases is the child rejecting love from the parent because he feel like to love or to get to know that parent is a betrayal to this parent that he side, because both parents are quarreling. So he feel, I see a lot of this also in divorced children, that he's curious to get to know to the parent that she or he doesn't live with, but afraid what will the mom say. I think mom will be hurt if I talk to dad behind her back. So that's why I said, what is a broken family? The definition is not if you are divorced. There's a lot of broken family, even those who are still married together. Actually more, because they don't fix it. They just complain every day, oh this, like he do this, he hurt me, but you're not doing anything. Like, do something about it. So I always say, a peaceful family, it can be divorced, it can be stay together, but do it peacefully.
So
do it like a mature
whatever
adult.
the issues are, it is fixed.
Yes, whatever the issue it is. Sometimes maybe you married the wrong guy, you listen to your mom, or you don't listen to the mom. I don't know. Like, you want a divorce, go, but make sure the what do you call it? The intention is not to revenge. It's not to, oh, you know what, you suck, I'm gonna find another guy better than this. It's not childish reason like that. You really learn your lesson, and okay, if you want to stay together, let's work, because sometimes a relationship takes 2 to fix. It cannot be like I want to fix myself, but no, if you feel that this marriage have no problem, then we have a problem, right? Because I always believe any problem, it takes 2 hands to clap. It's not always entirely the fault of one person.
Heavy. And why is it heavy? Because it is important.
Yeah.
It is very important. I think everybody, at some level, can relate to one or even several of what you're sharing. But we have just covered 4, and what is the 5th one then?
The 5th one is actually named Order of Love, Urutan Cinta. Like what? Like love has orders? Yes. Like work, if you have a deadline, you have priority, right? 1, 2, 3. Because, like again, we have limited amount of time, resources, and money. And that's why we need to have priority, even in family. If not, it's gonna be like you can't photocopy yourself, like 1 to my mom, 1 to my wife, 1 to the child, right? I mean, in the ideal world, we want to see that happen.
Clone.
So, clone, yes, clone, thank you. So everybody will feel satisfied. But in actual fact, no, there's only 24 hours a day. You have your work, you have to balance things, right? So you have to be smart where that priority go. And this is already like based on research and everything. The most healthy way for a family to function is if a child is married, that new family should be his new priority, which means your wife, your children, that should be your first priority. If you have excess time, money, and resources, husband, please take care of your parents. Wife, please take care of your parents. That is the healthiest. But in Asian family, you'll see over and over again, either they don't understand fully what you mean by that filial piety, berbakti. They're still very attached to their family of origin, which is the parents, the mom and the dad. they have not fully embraced that the family of origin have shifted from mom and dad to wife and children. So it feels like, in Indonesian we call it menikah rasa jomblo. So you're married, but where's my wife? I don't know, with the family. Where's my husband? Oh, the mom asked him to do this, and the dad. So, you feel, you always take like your mom's word, your dad's word, even though it's wrong or right. So you feel their partner is not being prioritized or listened to or feeling important. What happened in this case? Just a ticking bomb before one person gets affair or what do you call that? Infidelity. Because it's like, oh, my husband don't listen to me. I'll find somebody that listen to me. Like it's a very easier temptation for that to happen. You see. So I always say in Indonesian, like before the third person enters or break any family, usually the third person that first to do it is your in-law or a parent that is too. Oh, this is for your own good. This is a new family. I want to help, but it's not help. It's just controlling. They're not ready to let go their son or daughter to start their own family. Yeah, something like that.
So my understanding is this. Correct me if I'm wrong. What you're sharing here is like extreme cases, right? Because what I meant by that is that to a certain degree, I think it's very, very normal or even needed, right? Because, for example, well, I'm as a husband or as a wife, but I'm also as a child.
Yes.
I'm also, as a sibling, right? So I still not just need to, but also want to.
Yes.
Right. I also want to do this for my siblings, to do that for my parents. So, however, it shouldn't be. Correct me. This is my understanding. It shouldn't be to the point where my spouse feel neglected.
Yes.
So it's not that
I'm
a spouse now, so
bye.
right?
No.
Right.
Yes.
But just want to clarify this.
So priority, right? So it should be okay. Priority 1 is done, needed.
Yeah.
Okay, taken care of. You're good. Okay, what's my priority number 2? Parents. Okay, what do I need to do? Actually, how about you? Number 3, or you first, because you cannot give from an empty cup.
Right.
If Ali is not like happy, is not like fulfilled, then you're just you're running on empty, which is bad for your mental health, and you tend to have maybe like easily angered, stress, or not enough energy, and your family can feel it like that. So that is what I said about the priority, the 5th principle about the order of love. That is when a child grows up and get married. But what happened in original, who come first, the parents or the child? Usually the parent come first and then the child. Right.
And that also depends on some kind of situation as well. Like it's also situational, correct?
Not situational. What I mean by who prioritize, who come first is a good family dynamics is when 2 person, which is the couple, prioritize each other, and then the child. And when the child see the parents, oh, that is how healthy couple operates. So you prioritize mom, and mom prioritize the dad, and then me. So the child is in the rightful place as the third one. It's mom, dad, and you, or dad, mom, and you, depending if you are sometimes in a matriarchal family or patriarchal family. Because some couple feel more comfortable when the husband come first. Some couple comfortable when the wife come first. It's again, there's no wrong and right, but child should come third. But the moment the child become the peacekeeper of the family, or when one parent love the child so much more so than the other partner, that becomes a problem, because the child is not at his or her rightful place as the third one. What I mean by that, imagine if you, for example, love your child so much, and then you ignore your spouse, or everything, you buy everything for this child first, and then your wife, sorry, I have no money, like next month maybe, things like that. That's a no, because it will create a conflict between the parent that is being ignored and the child you're being favored. Jealous is like, Lucy, like, everything is you first. When is it going to be my turn? Like, I gave birth to you, or like, that is not a good dynamic in a family. That's why it's very important for mom and dad to become couple first before mom and dad, like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And sibling, it comes to sibling also, I see a lot of sibling rivalry where one elder sibling think it's a good idea to tell the younger sibling, dad say, don't do this, don't do this. Mom say, do this, do this. I said, oh, let me guess, what is the answer of your younger sibling? Do they say, thank you so much, you're being such a great brother, great sister, or who do you think you are? You're not my parents. Yeah, usually it's the second one. Yeah, because they are right. You are not their parents. So go back to your place as being the sibling, because sibling is equal. The dynamic of a healthy relationship of sibling is equal. Whether it's the youngest, the eldest, it should be equal. I've seen a lot of bad dynamic where the parents, you know, usually the eldest born is a default third parent. Right?
Yeah.
You know, you're the eldest, you should show a good example. You know, later on when I'm not here, dad and mom not here anymore, take good care of them. A lot of these clients goes into their subconscious and they're being very responsible to the point where they start dating when they're 50. When they start dating when they're 40. Why? Till all the sibling already graduate college, then they start having a life of their own. Start dating, start having a family of their own. So that pause, you know, as a parent looking that, would you want your eldest to pause their life so long to become a good daughter, a good son, sampai kelewatan gitu? Like it's not deliberate. It just happened. Like, how come you married late? And sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want. Even if they get married, I don't want to have a child anymore. Why? When I see, because you raised 8 kids by yourself.
All these years.
Your siblings are your kids. Congratulations. That's why when you become a parent, it's like, oh my God, I don't want to become a parent. And usually married a couple who have grown children. Like that. So you have to see like every word impact. Little things, your child life, which is significant later on. That's the crazy thing, Ali.
So is this why the word being used as constellation? Because it's like,
right?
Is
star,
that,
right?
yeah,
it's like one shift here, you might never know, like, like, you know, it affects things here. It's like, how come? For example, like I have a client, she is having infertility, right? Susah hamil. When you trace back, oh, you have a great grandmother who died at childbirth. No wonder your body subconsciously tell you that it's dangerous to give birth to a child because it costs your great grandmother's life. So that's what, oh my God, like segitunya ya? Yeah, like because it's the fear lingers in the trauma lingers in your body, trying to protect you from death. But that's a death for your grandmother, but it's not from you. So there's a lot of even illness, chronic illness condition. It's all because of unhealed trauma. I have a client having a tumor, breast tumor, right? You think, I said, you know, when we constellate this breast tumor, it turns out that because she has unresolved issue, she's never been on talking terms with the father for a lot of years, many years. So like I said, she sided with the mom because the dad treated the mom badly. So she cut all ties with the dad, right? When we constellate, it comes up, oh, the root cause of your tumor is your dad. Because you're picking side. A child is not supposed to pick side, even though, you know, your mom and dad even engage in domestic violence. It's not your job to hate your father. That's your mom lesson. Maybe to empower herself or whatever. Whether she chooses to learn or not, that's not up to you. But your job as a child is to love your parents equally, right? And then I told this client of mine, great, I go home and talk to your father, but I've never talked to him for such a long time, it'll be awkward. Well, you got to start somewhere, right? I mean, I don't know what this will do to your illness or not, but I suspect there's a significant impact to her condition. So, you know, being a good student that she is, she go back home, she talked to her father. 2 weeks later, because she's just curious, she just takes a mammogram and check again. The tumor is gone. And she thought, okay, this machine is broken. She tried another hospital. It's gone, Ali. So I'm not saying that, okay, family constellation will cure your chronic illness, but it does significantly impact the condition of your body, because the body responds what the emotion suppress, the body express it in illness. You know, the more severe the suppression, you're running away from it, you don't want to feel it. You know, a lot of people like, ngapain sih dipikirin, like just move forward, like jangan baper. The more your body will express it in weird illness, chronic illness like that.
I remember this amazing book, but I forgot who wrote it. I feel so bad when I forgot an author's name. But it's an amazing book by
The Body Don't Lie.
No, Your Body Keeps the Score.
Keeps the Score.
Do you know who wrote
I forgot, but I read that. Yes, that's an amazing book.
Yeah, and it's also research based as well.
Yes.
And it's very much aligned with what you were saying. Okay, so principle number 1, the love goes one direction.
Yes.
Right. The second one is equal give and take between partners. And then the third one being nobody's excluded.
Yes, everyone belongs no matter what.
And the fourth one, everybody's living their own destiny. Right?
Yes.
And the fifth one would be what's the word for that?
Order of love.
The order, the priorities, right? Now, in explaining these 5 principles, you shared both the ideal situations, and in explaining each principle also the examples of problems that usually occur related to each principle, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe like every family, or have you ever seen a family that is like that ideal? Is there anything like all 5 principles are like perfect?
Oh my God. Okay.
Is there such thing?
You know, I always have parents who over worry. Oh my God, if this is the case, then I'm scared. Like my parenting, no matter what I try to do, my child will have trauma. You can say this, and you can say this to a certain extent, because I have clients before who treated their sibling, so they have the same parent, Ali. So one sibling say that I have trauma because my dad beat me when I have bad result in school. You know, like okay, that I understand, like the trauma, because when he beats me, I feel like whatever I have in school, my result is never good enough. Like he don't love me because he beat me. Okay, then his sibling told me, my dad didn't beat me. That's my trauma. How can your dad didn't beat you as a trauma? Because he beat my brother. He cares. He said, the sibling, when my dad didn't beat me, he didn't love me. Serba salah yang jadi orang tua.
Wow.
So like you're saying, right? Is there a perfect family? I give you for example, one dad, 2 boys. One say you have trauma because the dad beat him. The other one say you have trauma because the dad didn't beat him. So what should the dad do, Ali? Right? I say, because trauma is very personal to what maybe you see as trauma. For me, it's like, oh, I don't resonate with that, you know, because maybe I have a different learning, my ancestor is different, we have different trauma. So when you said like, what is the definition of trauma? Last time, I used to think that trauma is something very terribly happened to you, you know, you suffer, you like to the extreme, you know, but coming here, trauma can be explained as simple as anything that happened too soon, too much, or too fast.
Anything that happens
too soon,
too much, or too fast?
Too fast. That's trauma.
Anything unpleasant.
Yeah.
Anything unpleasant.
Anything unpleasant, or for example, like, you know, if your parents knocked on wood or somebody you love passed on suddenly, that suddenly it's like
too
I'm
soon.
not ready, like too soon, like too soon, right? Or too fast. Like it's not like, oh, he have an illness that he will progress in 10 years and then pass away, you know, like anything suddenly, that can be a trauma. Or I lost my parents when I was 10, that is too soon. Right? Or maybe one of your parents passed away or divorced and you suddenly have to grow up very fast. That's trauma too.
So if I may, from your definition, because when you say too soon, too fast, or too much, it's the word too something.
Yes.
It means it's relative to something else, right?
Yes.
that's something else. Too soon compared to what? Too fast compared to what? So my understanding here is compared to your ability at that moment.
Yes. To cope.
To use the right perspective on how
Yes.
to see the situation and
Right.
to give the right meaning to what happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So because if let's say one of your loved ones passed away, you're not a child,
Yes.
you're not a small child, but maybe you're already 27 to even 30 or even more.
Yes.
But your ability is still not there.
Yes.
It can still be. It makes you feel like it's too much.
It's too much.
Right.
Or maybe you're expecting, a human have a lifespan of 60, 70. Oh, and then there's a, knock on wood, somebody you love died in an accident. That's trauma because it's too sudden. It's not what you expect a human being lifespan is supposed to have at 60
Yeah,
or
yeah.
70, like that. Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, I'm sharing this part because this reminds me of one of the most memorable moment was one of my mother's cousin. Her son passed away when he was 40 something.
Okay.
But as a mother, I think she was 60 something or maybe close to
Right.
70, but it doesn't matter, it's your son.
Of course,
right?
you're supposed to go
Right.
before your son.
Yeah,
It's something
right.
like doesn't
that
register.
normal,
Yeah, like
right?
a child is not supposed to die
Right.
before the parent.
Right. But this moment was when I saw her. There's not a lot of people there, but I saw her seeing her son's body
Yeah.
while crying, of course, and at the same time verbally, like out loud, saying, "But thank you, God, for giving me this
Strength.
this strength." And you can hear and feel that it's genuine.
Yeah, because I think her maturity
Exactly.
to grasp that
Exactly.
you're not like it's not you controlling everyone's life, it's God.
Exactly.
Yeah, that maturity.
That part, it really hits me. Like I think everybody was there who were there were crying when
Right.
when we heard her
Yeah.
say that, because we can feel that she's very genuine.
Yes.
Like grateful for all this opportunity, all the strength, even though acknowledging that she was of course very very sad.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
So that hits me like, okay, because there are other people who are at that age
Probably
who-
will not react the same way as
Exactly.
her because they're less mindful because of
Exactly.
upbringing and
So
yes.
in a way, she has at that moment she already has the ability to respond
Yes.
in a
In
right
healthier,
way, in a
yeah.
healthier way.
Yes.
Still acknowledging the sadness,
Yeah.
the grief.
Yes.
But
But
at
not
the same
denying
time,
that the strength and the
exactly.
grief can coexist together.
Exactly. And
Yes.
so that's why when you say too soon, too fast, too much,
Yes.
I think it's in relation with our ability
Yes.
when whatever that thing that happened.
Right.
Right?
Right, right. Because grieving from people to people takes differently, and it's very personal. So
Yeah.
like you said, depending on their maturity level,
Yeah, yeah.
they can take like instant, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
some which is maybe love this person too much or takes longer. Yeah, like you said.
So in a way, I think it's also why it becomes very important for us to realize, I guess, for each person, the importance of improving our ability to manage our thoughts, our emotions, our energy.
To respond better, right?
To respond better
because
to
we cannot
what
control
happened.
what happened outside, but the
Exactly.
only thing we can control is respond to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is something that can be learned.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the crazy thing is, about intergenerational trauma. This is also scientific. There's a research by Mount Sinai Hospital in America by this psychiatry professor. Her name is, I think, Rachel Yehuda. So she tests babies that have ancestor who have trauma, like 9/11. If the ancestor goes to war, grandpa, father, check like those people who have PTSD, like ancestor wise. And the crazy thing is that the baby, like test the DNA, there's a huge higher stress hormone available in the baby, cortisol, that has not in other babies, that doesn't have ancestor who go to war as a soldier or died at 9/11. So it's like you can say, what, baby have stress? No, that is inherited, dude. Those stress hormone are inherited from your ancestors. So can you imagine, Ali, like
the starting point is already higher.
Yes. So this is what I mean. Like if your parents, okay, you think money and is the greatest wealth, or education is the greatest wealth that you can give to your children. No, but actually it's how many of those generational trauma that you can break, so your children doesn't have to break it for them. Gampang deh, simple. Quitting smoking. If you come from a generation of like chain smoker, but you are able to break it and quit it, your children will not have like that, I want to crave smoke, because you break it for them. So that is already, I feel it's a habit that is more valuable than money, because money you can spend it, finish. But those kind of good habit giving to the next generation, those are, I feel, it's priceless, gitu. Not only smoking, but how to have healthy relationship. A lot of mothers I see have problems with children, even adult children, are the ones that run away from their own problem. And they got triggered when the daughter or the son turned out exactly like them. And then they were like, don't do that. Later your husband or your wife will like not love you for that, or your husband will. And they were like, usually it's the mother is upset because it's like, why it happens again? Like, because the mother don't solve it. If the mother solve whatever issue that she is suppressing or not yet finished, the daughter would not have to repeat and learn it again because she couldn't or she don't want to. That's the magic.
So, so now knowing the ideals, knowing the reality it's oftentimes, if I might say, quite far from the ideals. And we talked about a little bit about trauma and things that can help us to avoid, not to overcome, I would say, like having the ability to respond better. I think it helps us to avoid, but to overcome, it means that it already became a trauma. Then how to overcome that, and what you shared, and compared to the reality, traumas happen already there. Now, from your perspective as a therapist as well, how do you overcome that? What can we do? Or like in a therapy, what do you usually do?
Okay, usually in a therapy, how to overcome when the trauma, you already experienced that. Number one, I think first is to acknowledge it happens, because a lot of patients still justify, oh yeah, but if my mom is not like this, I don't turn out the way I am, or oh, it happened, but I don't feel as painful. So you're still not wanting to be vulnerable to feel that pain again. So I think the first step is to acknowledge that happens to you. Like, it takes some time to even for you to reach that stage that, oh yeah, this happens to me. And then the next step would be to grief. I would say, like, not blaming or I wish my mom is like better, like, oh, I wish my husband he could have like this, or I wish my dad is. So it's to stop wishing that your parents could be any different or any better, to stop wishing that your partner can be any different, because when you wish for your parents to be different than any of the person that they are right now, then they have a different child. You will not be born. It'll be a different child with a different parent, right? So you're wishing that you're not going to be born. That's intinya
it goes that
far. Yeah. So stop wishing, but grieve that what they didn't give you. Grieve what you didn't get. So it creates a better closure for what you didn't get, rather than I wish I get this, I wish I get that, right? And along with that, you'll stop blaming. You'll stop, ini sih, itu sih, you know, because sometimes it's easier to blame others than to take responsibility of an active, what can I do? It's easier to blame. It's always like, lu sih bikin gua marah, you sih like gini. So the more, as long as you're still in this loop of blaming, you are not taking responsibility of what you can change. You are taking a passive role that you are handing things how to change yourself in other people's hand, which is, I think life purpose also like works kind of the same, like, right? So you blame, and yeah, it's not you're not seeing from an active role of that you want to heal, that you're in control of your life. So you are agreeing that you're not in control of your life, that life happens to you. People blame you, people hurt you. It's always you hurt me, you do this to me. It's never like, I chose not to take any more crap from you. I chose to get healthy boundary from you. Never mind, I'm labeled like black sheep, I'm labeled as anak kurang ajar, but I'm doing this healthy boundary. You cannot disrespect me anymore. You know, you need to take the bad cop role in order to rise to become the character of your own story. To get out of your healing, like to have healing is to take a driver's seat. Where do you want to go with your life, you know, and stop blaming. I think that is the next step if you want to recover from, I think, even any problem or any trauma.
And can you do that without having to hate that other person or whoever?
Yes.
Like
then
creating boundaries, but
the next one is to understand, to see your parents, to see your partner as a human being. They're not God. So stop treating them like God and expecting them to give you God-like qualities. They have their own limitation, right? They, in that time, in that upbringing with their own parents, that's the best they can do. That's the best they can give you, even if you disagree with the way they are giving is dysfunctional, for example, right? So it's your job as the next generation that to improve it, to elevate, to level up the maybe parenting technique, maybe the how to have a better relationship. You know, their floor, their ceiling is your floor. That's the best they know. Yeah, during that time, there's no parenting book. There's no SOSMAT about like how to be a good parent, right? It's just trial and error. Okay, you hit. Okay, if the kid respond well, okay, then you keep hitting, right? I don't know. It's just
it works.
Right, it works. Okay, why change, right? Yeah. So
Thank
you
God.
have to understand like the macro perspective that they're human. You're human, right? If you can accept and be at peace with their limitation, with what they cannot give you, and you can thank them. Oh, thank you, yeah. Like what you can give me and what you cannot give me. Then you can disagree with them. You can create boundary, but without hating them. And I tried this. You know, last time my parents were very controlling. Like whenever I come home late, they're like, "Oh, how come you're so late?" Da, 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 da. Then I was like, "Dad, I'm like 20. I'm not like a teenager." You know, I get so upset that my parents don't trust me. Don't like treating me like a child. But once I heal, like I see my parents in a different light. That the more you control me, the more you love me. I see the love behind the control. I see the love behind the disapproval. But I can, you know, the disapproval is like masuk kanan keluar kiri. It's like, oh yeah, they're just doing what parent would do to prohibit me from starting business because they want the safe choice for me. They want the, like, you know, that's the understanding, and I'm very grateful to them. So I can just, okay, I'll just do whatever I want, and I take responsibility. If it fails or not, it's on me, not on them, but I don't disconnect from them. I don't hate them, because it's kind of hard to coexist, like how to disagree peacefully without hating them. I think that's the goal of a good family dynamic, is to be able to, you know, people think that parenting is about raising successful kids.
Whatever the definition of success is.
Yes. But I think the basic of parenting, a successful parenting, is how good your child at you become the first person to call if there's problem, if shit comes up. They feel safe with you. They feel like, oh, my dad will not trash me, my mom will not beat me and scold me and judge me and hate me. So they're my go-to safe person to go if anything happens. I think the definition of like successful parenting is that how open your children can be with you and showing a range of emotion, not only the positive one, even the negative one with you, because they feel safe that the parents got their back. Not meaning like, what I'm saying is not like if they make mistake, you still discipline them, but they know that they can count on the parent as a safe place for them to go back, to talk, to share the opinion, so you know about each other. Not only I got juara satu, like ranking satu, and you just want to show the good achievement to your parents. That's that is feels kind of alone. That's not really like an open communication. Because I always say why I'm doing what I'm doing, family constellation. I always think that family is like your first teacher, your first boss, your first whatever in life. The rest is just a mimic, repetition of what works or what doesn't work at home. Yeah, so that's how important, like it takes root as a child. It's like a memory imprint before they go out to the world. So, like I always believe that world peace starts from home. The rest are just repetition. Kayak gitu, Ali.
Amazing. What you said reminds me of an interview. I think it was Lewis host with the late great Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
Lewis host. He asked Kobe. I think I forgot. I'm paraphrasing, but like one of the most important, learnings or experience that help you to become, who you are as the Kobe Bryant. And interestingly, he said that when I was a kid, he said, and then we played basketball and everything, but there was one game where I didn't score at all. And I took a lot of shots, but I had 0 points, and he felt like really, really bad. And then when he met his dad, he said, his dad was like, "You can score 100, you can score 0, doesn't matter. I will still love you anyway."
Yes.
And he said, when I heard that, when my father said that, I felt like I'm free to make any mistakes, and it will be okay.
That is also Asian parent 101, that kids is afraid to make mistake, or kids feel whatever they do is always wrong because they have overprotective parents that jangan sampai salah, like be careful, you don't have to be wrong, like so we are raising like man women, child women, because they're so scared of making mistake. Whatever, like what do you want to do, terserah, like what do you want, up to that, because the parents are so used to making choices for them, because the parents have the children's best interest at heart. They don't want the child to be wrong, so they make the decision for them, good and bad. So you raise children who don't know how to do analytical thinking, they don't know what they want, what makes them happy. I don't know, like that. So I've seen a lot of this pattern. And a lot of parents said that, being overprotective means you're good parents. No, being overprotective means you are parenting out of fear. Yeah. So what you're imparting to your children is not the ability to think or being safe to make mistake, is that you're teaching them a lot of fear. Don't make mistake. This world is dangerous. Be careful. Like people will judge you. Don't make mistake. You have to be perfect. So that kind of expectation is, like you say, it's not freeing. Like what parents should say to children is like, no matter you score 0 or 100, or you screw up your marriage, you screw up your school, I will still love you. So that freedom to make mistake actually will make the children more successful, because they're not afraid to make mistake, and they will make less mistake if they are not afraid to make mistake. That's the parody. That's the contradicting, right? That's the irony.
Because for me, like, as a basketball fan, and knowing like Kobe is one of the most insanely competitive person, not for other but to himself. And when he was asked what was one of the things that really make you who you are. Like most people would, even including myself at that time, was guessing the answer would be like, oh, the hard work, all of that. But it was something completely different. It goes all the way back to what his parents said, which means he really it was that significant to him.
Because a children's brain is like a sponge.
Yeah.
Whatever you do or not do, they will see. Like, children will not do as they are told.
Yeah.
Children will do as they see.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the danger also, like parenting, there's a gauge of successful parenting is not the good behavior of the children, it's how the parents behave among themselves. Because children will just copy what the parents do. I've treated like a school bully, and a lot of these cases, the first bully is their parents.
And sometimes they're not even realizing that they're
so they learn,
bullying their child.
okay, the only way for get people to listen to you is by bullying and controlling them. So they go to the kids in school and friends, you listen to me, and they become bully because they mimic what their parents do to them. Okay, that's how, because children, you tend to repeat what is familiar, not what is healthy necessarily. So imagine if you have an alcoholic father, you tend to attract alcoholic partners. It's just kind of like, oh, it's familiar. It's the devil I know.
Yeah.
I know how to cope with this. Like a stable relationship, that's like boring. I don't know how to, how like that. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. A couple of things. First, is there anything else that you think it's important to share, but I haven't asked you yet?
Oh my God, there's so much, because you can pretty much constellate everything, Ali, from like career, from your relationship, from your children, from your, wow, that's like the spectrum is the limit, the sky's the limit, right? And I think what I haven't shared with you is that parents, maybe, children are sensitive people. So you cannot pretend to look happy at home, like with when you're not happy or sad. Children can pick that up very quickly. And in family constellation, what the parent cannot process, in this case maybe their own trauma, or they just kind of itu kan that's like happened 20 years ago, it doesn't matter, it's in the past. No, it's not in the past, it's still there. And the children can feel it, and they will process it for you in ways that will startle you. It will ways that shocks you. That a lot of these children are sent to me. Oh, my children have mental issue, right? Teenager. You can name it suicidal, self-harm, right? When you dig deeper, oh my God, it's actually the parents not wanting to process or run away from denial. We call it like denial. Enggak kok, like, no, I'm fine. It happened I'm already moved on. No, because your child is still expressing it for you. So sometimes in therapy, I always said I only accept cases of children therapy when parents want to be therapized, to be involved. Because a lot of parents like, no, I'm just sending for my child. Then I will refer it to other therapists, because I don't want to waste my time, and also don't waste your money also, because it's all interrelated, right? Right. Your children, masa belajar dari tetangga, like nggak mungkin, like your children will never learn from neighbor. It's from you, as much as you deny it. But I'm not blaming the parents, because the parents has maybe unhealthy parents. Unhealthy parents have unhealthy parents, right? Mau tarik seberapa panjang kayak gitu sih.
So it's just a matter, if you want this to be fixed, then you need to be involved.
Yes.
It's nothing about blaming you.
Yes, and it's easier always when parents are more mindful than children. Why? Because parents emotional rubbish dump. It's bigger, it's fuller than the kids. So when the parents shift, wow, you can see the child is so very fast to shift, because it's from the top down, not from the bottom up in this case. Yeah, like that.
Wow. Melinda, thank you so very, very much for sharing all of this.
Thank you.
And where can people find your work if they want to know more about you? Where can they know more?
You can visit my website, familyconstellationlab.com, or follow my IG, msutanto_msutanto. I have like a monthly workshop, online and offline, as well as a one-on-one private counseling, offline and online also, and a 2-day intensive family constellation that held quarterly in Jakarta. So you can, if you are interested, you can check out the different kind of workshop that is might suitable for you. Yes.
And you do this both in Indonesian
Yes.
and in English as well?
Indonesian and English.
Yeah.
And I have a book also. You can family constellation. Maybe it's in my bag. I can.
Yes, of
Yep.
course. Of
Okay,
course,
hang
of
on a
course,
second.
because
I forgot.
and it's very important because I've read the book already. So, and it's an amazing book. Please
Yes.
share this.
So this is the book.
Yeah.
It's in Indonesian at the moment.
Yeah.
It has been reprinted 3 times. It's bestseller. Thank you to all the readers who have read and supported this. But yeah, this is a very powerful book for not only parents, but if you are single, if you are married, if you were about to be married, you have in-law problem, you have what do you call that? Dating, toxic, wanting to get out of toxic relationship, wanting to have a healthy dating. Yeah, I think this book. If you are illness, like why I have illness that always recurring, and the crazy thing about illness, the illness autoimmune, the root cause of the autoimmune is because you are too nice. Can you imagine, Ali? What? I was like, no, and majority of autoimmune sufferer are women. Women are too nice, like they want to be liked. And they tend to sacrifice a lot of the like they have issue of saying no, right? And nggak sopan, sungkan, like it's not nice. I feel like I have to say yes, So that has been scientifically proven that majority of people who have autoimmune, I'm not saying all, is the root cause is being too nice. I'm not saying you be evil immediately, no. What I'm saying is that set healthy boundary. You should say no to something that I always have this phrase that make sure that if you say yes to people, you're not saying no to yourself. It has to be like win-win, like that. Yeah. So that's just a fun facts that that's crazy.
And learning about this and knowing that this is not just opinions. There's a scientific background behind this, and it's really mind-blowing and really eye-opening.
I wish I can do one time with you, Ali, next time, because family constellation, it's role-play based therapy. So what happened is that it's usually happen in a group setting. So imagine there's a group of stranger, about 10 to 20 people in a room. So one person who's daring or volunteer would raise up the hand. Oh, I want to constellate today. So, and then I will call your name. Okay, Ali, come to the front. Okay, Ali, how can I help you? I want to constellate. I want to improve my relationship with my son or my partner or my mom, right? And then what happened next is that Ali, as the volunteer, would pick a random stranger, your classmate, to play a role as you and your child or your partner, right? This stranger is a role play. Then I'll ask, then you as the problem owner, sit down, just observe, and these people that you pick as your classmate would stand up, everybody would sit in a circle, they would stand up, and I will guide them, the one who's role playing you, and your child and your spouse, to stand in accordance, suddenly this is where the magical thing happened. They'll start behaving like you and your child and your partner. Amazing.
Without you having to direct them.
No, they don't even know what your issue is. We call it like the law of attraction is the morphogenetic field in the healing of the family system. It always happens. And amazingly, you think you're picking those people randomly, but no, they tend to have the similar issue that they already overcome, or that's the mind-blowing thing why I am so fixated with this. I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life, like you said. Life calling is like this is insane. Like people should know all this, how simple and effective these techniques are. So when during a healing session, it's not only Ali that heals, the one that you call randomly but not so random, they also get, oh my God, now I know how my mom feel because maybe she's chosen as a difficult mom. Oh my God, this is how being a difficult mom feels. So you are open to empathize with your own problem. And the one who's observing, not being called, also takes an active role of, I feel so triggered when that person say this to this person. And it starts crying, why am I crying? And I'm like, it's okay, I don't have to know why you're crying. And I like this healing technique because it respects everyone's privacy. When you're ready to share, I'll meet you where you are. If you're crying, just looking at this, I wouldn't go like, oh, why you're crying? Can we share with the class? So even though it's in a group setting, you feel kind of like you're given your own space to share what you are ready to share at that moment. Because in an Asian community we tend to be, oh my God, malu ya, like
more reluctant to share.
Reluctant to share, yeah. It's good that it respects everyone's privacy and you only share what you are ready to share. It's amazing. It's an amazing technique. You know, I hope one day we get to share it live with everyone. If I can find 10 volunteers. Yep. That's usually how it's done.
Thank you again. Thank you for
You're
sharing
welcome.
your time, your knowledge, your experience, your wisdom again. And I hope this won't be the last time
Definitely not.
that you come here. I'm sure we all agree with that, right? So thank you so much, and keep doing the amazing work that you do.
You too.
And I look forward for our next
Yes,
conversation.
Me too.
And thank you for watching it, and share your comments below, your thoughts as well. Anything any learnings that you got from these conversations, which I believe there's so many, but maybe from each person who's listening, who's watching this, there's one thing that hits you more than the other. So please do share, and share in the comment section, and share this video as well to anyone whom you believe would also get a lot of benefits from this conversation. Thank you so much, and thank you one more time.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it so much.
Thank
and
you.
I'll see you
Thank you for
in the next
watching.
episode. Ciao.